it. So there are three things that Meprolight is really, really good at. And those three things are clarity of glass in both their pistol and rifle optics, the clarity of the reticle itself, the sharpness of the reticle, brightness and sharpness is basically unmatched by anybody I've ever used, at least, and durability. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. Today we are going to go over this stuff right here. This is the Meprolight MMX3 flip to the side micro magnifier, and the red dot option, which is their Tru-Vision SR. This is a duty setup in every sense of the word. I've had it for some time now, just after SHOT Show in January, this being close to the end of April. Yes, close to the end of April. So let's get into it. So, for full transparency, Meprolight did send this out to me. Also, I have had them send me a pistol red dot like a year ago, and it doesn't affect my views on products and things like that, so get that notion out of your head. I want to say, though, that Meprolight is one of those companies that I look forward to working with. Their products have floored me in basically every way every time I touch one of them, and this one's absolutely no different. Again, this is very much a duty setup in every sense of the words, so let's talk about this. So really quick, I would like to thank the sponsor of this channel, and that is me. Down below you're going to see a link that says website deals and promo codes. Check that out. It's going to help you out. There's a whole lot of different percentages off of various products in there with different promo codes, as well as other affiliates that I work with, that I trust and use and things like that all the time. Do me a favor, check that out. If you get something off that, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does absolutely help out the channel. While you're at it, hit that like, share, and subscribe button right now. And I do appreciate it. Let's get back to the video. So this has lived its entire life on this 10.5 Victor Industries piston upper. This is a very hard use, duty rated upper as well, and so this really kind of finished it off and made it very complete. We have a 3X magnifier that is a flip to the side, very easy to use, and a 2 MOA with what they call a speed ring or a circle dot for their Tru-Vision SR. Now, since it's the thing that has sort of the least to say about it, let's start with the MMX3. They do sell a 4 as well. This is a 3X, the 4 being, you guessed it, 4X. So it is very easy flip to the side magnifier. It has retention on each end of it so it doesn't just flop around. Very easy to use one-handed when you flip up from a shooting position. So when you are here, you can easily do that, and of course use your other hand. There is no buttons to push, you don't have to jerk it around or anything like that. The way God intended a magnifier to work. Has a very smooth diopter here, so you can focus this lens to your reticle and your red dot. Very smooth, feels like there's some O-rings in there or something to keep it nice and sealed up. Some knurling around the diopter ring here, so very good there. Now on the top and side there is also your flathead adjustments. Now magnifiers not having a reticle in them, those adjustments are to line it up more correctly with your red dot that is in front of it. Both of these having a 1.93 height over bore, giving you plenty of room to run any sort of a laser designator or light switch, your tape switch or anything like that, and for your C-grip, your C-grip, your C-clamp grip above here so that you're not obstructing the view of your optic. So glass clarity. Glass clarity of this is very good. So there are three things that Meprolight is really, really good at. And those three things are clarity of glass in both their pistol and rifle optics, the clarity of the reticle itself, the sharpness of the reticle, brightness and sharpness is basically unmatched by anybody I've ever used, at least, and durability. So those are three things that Meprolight is absolutely phenomenal at, and this magnifier does those things. Of course, it doesn't have a reticle in it, but the glass in this is very clear. There's no magnification distortion around the edges that you find in some other magnifiers, and there's no color variation or tint to it either. As far as durability goes, they've wrapped this aluminum housing in a rubber shield. But I like that, not because I think that in this position you're going to beat up this magnifier a lot, but when it's flipped to the side and you're whacking this thing against a ladder, whacking this thing against car doors and stuff like that, whacking this thing up against walls when you have it slung, I really like that they put a rubber housing around the magnifier. Now, as I'm sure you can probably see here, these are both quick disconnect. So, just has a throw lever, comes right off, goes right back on. Now, this is, oops, let me put it back to where it was. This throw lever locks down really good. I haven't had either thing loosen up. There is a squared off cross bolt in the bottom of this to help keep it where it's supposed to be. As you can see, there's almost no movement there, and even if there was, it's a magnifier, it doesn't matter. But this throw lever is the only place of this entire thing that I'm going to ding Meprolight for. And it's not something that you can't change. But as it comes, you can see how the throw lever faces backward. Now, I get why. So if you have that facing forward, especially for a right-handed shooter, you sling in your rifle, you get that throw lever caught on something, it flips open, all of a sudden you're leaving a yard sale behind you of magnifiers. However, for me, subjectively speaking, I would have rather had this back a little farther, so I've been running the brace in a little farther than I normally would in order to get my eye relief correct on this. Why did I have to do that? Because this throw lever going back interferes with my ability to hook a finger into the charging handle. So I had to move it forward. Now, you can undo this, flip it around, and put it back on and have your throw lever facing forward. Again, I understand why they did it this way, but as far as functionality, I probably could have used the throw lever on the opposite side, only because I am a right-handed shooter, and I know that sounds selfish, but only because I am a right-handed shooter and leaving this side completely open for me to have this as far back as I wanted to and not interfere with one-handed manipulation of the charging handle. So let me take this out of here real quick. I want to talk about the eye relief. I honestly don't remember what they listed the eye relief as, but I have a full field of view there, a little bit of eye boxing, right? Full field of view, full field of view, full field of view, a little bit of eye boxing, a little shadow, a little scope shadow, right? And magnifiers, unfortunately, they are all sort of the same in that there's really not a magnifier out there with great eye relief, you know, with like a really long, phenomenal eye relief that you can find in some like 1 to 6 LPVOs on 1 power that have really good eye relief. These fixed power 3 and 4 magnifiers, just across the board, sort of have horrible eye relief. So this one's no different, but it has everything else about it is just a, you know, out of the park home run. So this moves us up to the Tru-Vision SR red dot. This has a 2 MOA dot and a 2 MOA dot with a 65 MOA circle, segmented circle, that has points at the north, south, east, and west, or top, bottom, left, and right for these guys who don't know your directions. And that's what I've run it on. the entire time is the circle dot. I really like circle dots. I think they do a very good job of drawing your eye to the center and being able to place the generalization area that you're trying to hit inside of a circle. So as far as getting your sight on target quickly, I think circles do a very good job. Now these are of course an aluminum body, very durable. Again, there's three things that Meprolight, if nothing else, there's three things that Meprolight do exceedingly well at, and that is clarity of both reticle and glass and durability. And this has all three packaged very nicely in this square-bodied red dot. Has half MOA clicks. On the back here and side here. Of course, there's going to be B-roll being rolled over this. On the back here and side here, you can see that there are flatheads, so it doesn't take any special weird tools. You can actually do this with the rim of a case if you want. But it has the flathead rear and side windage and elevation. It also takes a CR123A battery right here in the front of it, where you can just unscrew the cap, and the cap is tethered with a wire, not some dry rotted out piece of rubber strap. As you can see here, the buttons are nice and big, easy to hit. You have your night vision button here. So your night vision button, there are 4 night vision settings. All you do is push the button and it changes right to night vision. And then your ups and downs when you're in manual mode, because there is an automatic brightness mode. When you're manual mode, you have your 10 brightness settings up and down, and this thing gets very bright. Even out here in the southern Arizona desert, where if there's any place that washes out a red dot, it's here. And again, this does have auto brightness settings. There is a sensor up here in the front that faces forward. It does not face up. Some sensors face up, and like those, if you're in a shadowed area or something like that, or when you turn your white light on, it's not sensing as much as it should. So I really like that it's a forward-facing sensor instead of an up-facing sensor. So the window size is 29mm by 20mm. That's 29mm wide, 20mm tall. That's a big window. But for those of us that measure in freedom units, that is about an inch, just over an inch, 1.05 in fact, wide, and 7/8 of an inch tall, 0.787 if I did my math correctly, tall. And the glass is crystal clear. I don't get any aberrations in the glass. I don't get any color variation. I don't get any magnification wobble. I don't get any of that stuff. I don't get, it's like it's not there. If it weren't for a reticle being in the glass, I would swear that there's nothing even in there. So clarity, sharp, nice, bright reticle with a nice durable housing. Yeah. So for reliability, durability, and abuse, I have put this thing through a small amount of abuse. When I say a small amount of abuse, it's actually hit the ground a couple times when I was trying to take my B-roll pictures of this upper. I had this, without the mag in it, I had this whole rifle sitting on top of the 2x4 post of my steel target, and it actually fell to the ground a couple times, landing on this. And in some of the pictures you've seen, you may have seen like a bunch of dirt in some of the crevices, because this thing, yeah, it's hit the ground a few times. But I went ahead this morning and I did my new durability test. And it's new because I'm honestly just don't make enough money doing this anymore, and to sacrifice the other components of the rifle by continuously dropping it on the ground. So I've adopted the hammer approach, and I smacked this around a little bit. Let's check out if it held zero. All right, so we're here with the Meprolight at 50 yards, and I have the X-Tech M855 green tip in here. So I'm going to do 10 shots, or I'm going to do 5 shots, and then I'm going to beat this stuff up a little bit and see if it holds zero. That was off. All right, so changing up the abuse test a little bit, mainly because not enough of you guys watch my videos for me to afford messing up rifles anymore by dropping them. So, have my hammer here. And let's see if that shakes it off of 0. All right, let's go take a look at it. All right, so this down here was, before I turned the camera on, I wanted to see where my point of impact was, because what I'm doing for this test at 50 yards is different than the 0 that I have the optic, which is 36 yards. So I just wanted to see where everything was hitting with 5 shots. This is what I just shot for you. So we have basically the exact same group. So with a 10.5 barrel, we're looking at, with the exception of this flyer, which is I'm pretty sure the one that I said was off, we're looking at like 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches at most type group here. So that is pretty darn good, and it didn't lose 0. So, price. Let's get into price. With all of these qualities, everything that I've said positive about this, all the features it has, it must carry a heavy, heavy price tag. And you'd be right. But this is one of those, in my opinion, one of those situations where you're not paying for a name. You're not paying for promises that they make on a website. You're paying for actual results. You're paying for actual durability. You're paying for actual quality control. And so do with that what you will. But the Tru-Vision SR is $600. And the Magnifier is $330, and that's on Mepro's website. I don't know about other places like Optics Planet and things like that. I haven't looked those up. This is just off of Mepro's website. $600 and $329 or $330. Right, so you have $930 wrapped up, just under $1,000 wrapped up in this. I can say, I will reiterate what I said. You're not paying for promises made on a website. You're not paying for a legacy name with a mediocre product. You're paying for actual build quality. You're paying for duty use setup that I think would do anybody, like a buy once, cry once. I'm going to get a red dot and magnifier, and it's going to last me the rest of my life. I have no problems believing this is probably that. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment down below. Sharing is an underrated thing that people on YouTube do not stress enough. It is the only way as gun channels that we can actually get our content out there, because YouTube will not put it in your feed unless you are a regular visitor of the channel. So share these videos, not just mine, everybody you watch. Share those videos on your various social media platforms. X, screenshots and pictures on Instagram with links, Facebook, all those places. I'd like to thank Meprolight for sending this out to the channel. It is bomb-proof. I love it. It's great. Just like I've come to expect from Meprolight products. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.